Welcome everybody, my name's TechnoTuner and today I am bringing to you my updated Fiendsmith Magical Musket deck profile. This deck is a lot of fun and has a lot of capability of really going into the meta as a going second contender. Now, do note that you can change up a lot of this stuff for the deck to go first or to fit your playstyle more efficiently. Now, the one thing I'm going to state here is in this deck, I'm not playing any hand traps. The only cards I'm playing are going second board breakers, which I'll go over at the very end here before we go into the extra deck. But I just wanted to go over this deck. It's not changed much outside of the extra deck and the main deck a little bit without the hand traps. But the main deck overall has remained the same monster-wise, and it's a lot of fun to play. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop right on in. So, for the three Magical Muskets that I'm going to start us off on are Magical Musket Caspar. Basically, all the Magical Muskets have this effect whenever a spell or trap is activated in their column. You can activate their effect. For Caspar, he lets you add one Magical Musket card from your deck to your hand, but not a card with the same name as that card that was activated this turn in the column. So, for example, if you activate one of the Magical Musket spells, you can search one of the traps or another spell with a different name. This also gives you the option to search up other monsters as well. Next, we have the main deck Summoner, which is 3 Magical Musketeer Starfire. Whenever a spell or trap is activated in her column, you can summon another Magical Musketeer from your deck to the field so you can further get more continuation or set up more control, basically on however you want to really build your board. Next, I do play the 2 Magical Musketeer Doc, the 1 Magical Musketeer Wild, and the newcomer, the 1 Magical Musketeer Calamity. Magical Musketeer Doc, Wild, and Calamity all have the same effect as Starfire and Caspar when it comes to if a spell and trap card is activated in their column. Now, this could happen during your turn, your opponent's turn, whenever. But Doc has the interesting effect of when the spell or trap is activated, you can add 1 Magical Musketeer card or 1 Magical Musket card from your graveyard to your hand, but not a card with the same name as activated this turn. So basically, you can recur a monster back from the graveyard, a spell or trap that you want to reactivate that you got to activate last turn. It helps out a lot in just getting some recursion into the deck. Magical Musketeer Wild, I do play him at 1, not a lot of people do, but I like Wild because he lets you recycle into the deck and get a free draw. Because you can target 3 Magical Musket cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, and then draw 1. Then there's Magical Musketeer Calamity, who's the newcomer. She's been released with all these before. The only reason why I'm saying she's new is because I'm playing her as a 1-of in the deck. But if a spell trap is activated in this card's column, you can target 1 Magical Musket monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position. So it's basically a great way to recur back from the graveyard and continue your plays, so you can set up more board presence during your opponent's turn, or just during your turn so you can further interact. That's all for the actual Magical Musket monsters that I'm playing though, and I will say that this engine works very well for the deck because they're all light fiends. So what about the Fiendsmiths? Did we change anything up? Not really. So I'm still playing the 3 Fiendsmith Engraver, the 2 Lacrima, and the 1 Lurie. The Fiendsmith Engravers, you can discard this card, add 1 Fiendsmith spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 Fiendsmith equip card you control and 1 monster on the field. Send them to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle 1 other light fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck or extra deck, special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Fiendsmith Engraver once per turn. This card unto itself just really enables Magical Muskets go to a whole nother level. Being able to get the spells for the fusions, being able to further get interaction, and being able to send cards just by using things that are equipped as another light fiend on the monster with the links, it just allows you so much more capability. As for Lacrima, this is a great way on being able to get a Fiendsmith card or engraver into the graveyard so you can further dig through or use resources to get through your plays and continue on a little bit further. But Lacrima has the other effect of you can target 1 Fiendsmith Link monster in your graveyard as a quick effect during your opponent's turn. Shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, special summon that monster. So overall, it gives you recursion to get an extra body on board so you can recover during your next turn if you need to. Thin Lurie is just the honorary Fiendsmith at this point because he is a great discard off the track, just so you can further discard him, summon him, and then get a free card into Requiem, so you can get to your Engraver or Lacrima. Overall, that's all I'm really running for the Fiendsmiths. The only other monster that I'm running for the deck, and I'm still debating on if I want to up it to 2, is Unchained Soul Shavara. Unchained Soul Shavara is really great because it is a level 6 body and allows you easy access into your DDD High Wave King Caesar. During the main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can target one fiend monster or one face down card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon this card. But while it's face up in the monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters except fiend monsters. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can set one Unchained spell or trap directly from the deck. You can only use each effect of Unchained Soul Shavara once per turn. So even if you have like a dead going second turn card or anything like that that you can't activate in your hand, you can still set it to summon Shavara and continue off with your plays. Overall, that's what I have for all the monsters in the deck. Now, as for the spells, you're going to see a little bit of difference to where I'm playing 3 Link into the Brains. This basically makes it an immediate Link summon for any of your monsters because special summon one monster from your hand, but negate its effects. Then immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon one Link monster using monsters you control as material, including that monster. This Link summon cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is Link summoned this way. If a Link monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, add one monster from your graveyard to your hand with the same original type as one of those destroyed monsters. So, on top of being able to get us a free Link that can't be negated, and then being able to recur a resource if that Link is destroyed by battle or card effect, it is very helpful overall because all we're playing in the grave, or in the main deck, is light fiends, or just in general, a fire fiend if you were going into, say, a strange Unchained card that somebody may run. Sorry, I can't remember if Unchained... Never mind, they're all dark. I think Shavara is a fire. It is. So you wouldn't be able to get Shavara, but you would be able to get the rest of the deck, as they are all light fiends. Next, for the Magical Musket cards that I do play, I did up Magical Musket Cross Domination to 3. This card is really great because it's an interactable. Target one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. Change its attack and defense to 0. Also, it has its effects negated. You can only activate one Magical Musket Cross Domination per turn. So basically, this is just a quick effect failure that can't be called by it or anything like that as long as you have a Magical Musket on board. It's great because it gets you the effect negation that you really need to really stop your opponent from popping off. As for the rest of the Magical Musket cards, I'm playing 2 Last Stand and 2 Desperado. These are just basically great because if you guys haven't seen this before, the Magical Musket cards can be activated from hand as long as you control a Magical Musketeer monster. Those Magical Musketeer monsters all allow you to activate your spells and traps during your opponent's turn from hand if needed, or just overall in general. Because it says during either player's turn, you can activate a Magical Musket spell or trap card from your hand. So that just gives you the free reign to activate any of those that you would like to utilize, such as Desperado for a targeted pop, or Last Stand to basically be a spell and trap negate. And it's a counter trap, so which makes it even harder to do. So being able to play into your columns to activate your Magical Musket monster effects while being able to really activate and cause an interruption for your opponent is really hard for your opponent to interact with and deal with. But that's all the spells that I'm really running for the Magical Musketeer end of the deck. Now for the Fiendsmith stuff. For Fiendsmith, I'm playing 3 Tracked, 2 Synced, and 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise. So the reason why I cut Sync down to 2 instead of 3 is because I don't want to see it as often. You can recycle it back and it's very helpful, but you can't utilize it as much as you'd like. It also light locks you, so it cuts you off from certain plays that you can do to further build your board. Fiendsmith Tract. Basically, this card is add a light fiend monster from your deck to your graveyard, then discard one card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one Fiendsmith monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. So, since we cut the one Diabolica, it's been able to further allow us to continue on, since all our monsters are mainly light fiend, to go into our fusions. Sanct, if you control no face-up monsters, the only face-up monsters you control are light fiend monsters. Special summon one Fiendsmith token. Fiend, light, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. Also, you cannot declare attacks for the rest of this turn except with Fiend monsters. If face-up Fiendsmith monster control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card. You can only use each effect of Fiendsmith Sanct once per turn. That's perfectly fine. We're just using it as a token summoner and being able to recur it back. Fiendsmith in Paradise, we do have a low chance case of activating the actual effect, which is target one level 7 or higher light fiend monster you control. Send all cards on the field to the graveyard that are not that monster. If your opponent special summons a monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card. Send one Fiendsmith monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Fiendsmith Paradise once per turn. So, since we play a lot higher level fusions, we can utilize Fiendsmith in Paradise to really get more bang for our buck with that first effect if we end up going into our Fiendsmith Desiree. However, if we don't go into our Fiendsmith Desiree, this allows us to get another body into grave when our opponent special summons, especially during our turn, given K9 is a actual threat in this meta right now, to where K9 can trigger Fiendsmith Paradise once we send it off of Lacrima to send Engraver or another card. Alright, so that's all the Fiendsmith cards I'm really playing. I am playing the one Unchained spell, which is Trap, which is Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. You can special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or graveyard. If the set card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of Abominable Chamber of the Unchained once per turn. This card is very great because it lets you get into your Soul Shavara, and if you're playing another one or another card, you can summon another one when you pop the Shavara off. So, for example, you set this, activate Shavara in hand to summon by popping this, trigger effect engrave to summon from deck. So you would get another Unchained card if you were playing it. In all honesty, I might play one copy of the blue just so I have another target. But the fun part is that you can just set it. You don't have to really worry about it, but during your opponent's turn, you can set special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or graveyard and just get an extra body on board in case you need to block some damage or utilize another effect just to really build your board for the next turn. Now for the board breakers. I am playing 3 Forbidden Droplet and 3 Book of Eclipse. Forbidden Droplet just allows us to trigger off Book of Eclipse or any of our quick plays by sacking them off when we activate them to get an extra negate on board and have monsters' attacks and defense. Helps us overall, and depending on what we send, our opponent can't activate that in response, so we can further interact with our opponent by allowing us to break down their board even further. Book of Eclipse, this just makes it harder for yummy players to really utilize their synchros or other card effects as long as they're flipped face down. So for example, if they have a level 1 monster, they can't go into their link or they can't go into their synchro as long as it's flipped face down and they have nothing else to continue with. But if you were looking to really build into hand traps, I would recommend cutting these 6 to fit in 3 Ash Blossom, not Ash Veiler, but 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Molcharmy Fualos, 3 Molcharmy Perulia, by cutting another 3 cards, which would probably be the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, not the Magical Musketeer, but the Unchained Soul of Shavara. And then you can cut down on one of the Magical Musket spells or traps that you feel is not really useful for your case. That way you have further interaction with your opponent during your turn, giving you extra draws, etc. But that is up to you. Another card that I'm thinking of actually working into the main deck is Evenly Matched, as it really does help you break opponents' boards and makes it harder for them to recover. Anyways, that's all I really have for the main deck. Now let's take a look at the extra deck. For the extra deck, we have one Fiendsmith Lacrima, just fresh off the ban list at 1. So to summon this, you need 2 light fiend monsters. Monsters your opponent controls lose 600 attack. You can only use each of the following effects of Fiendsmith Lacrima once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target one of your light fiend monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or special summon it. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle one other light fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck or extra deck and inflict 1200 damage to your opponent. So that further helps you with getting more resources to go into your DD Highway of King Caesar, or just to be able to further build your board. Next, of course, we're playing the one Necro-Equipped Princess, as this card basically takes Lacrima and Requiem when it's equipped to Lacrima to summon it. But it requires one monster equipped with a monster card and one fiend monster card. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by sending the above cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. You can only control one Necro-Equipped Princess. If a monster is sent from the hand to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, you can activate one of these effects. Equip one of those monsters' card as a quick spell that gives it 500 attack, or draw one card. So, if they activate a hand trap Necro-Equipped while on board, we'll be able to let you draw a card. So that helps out a lot. Next up, we have Fiendsmith Desiree. This is our main card that we're utilizing to get our negates on board for the fusion part of the deck. But it requires one Fiendsmith Engraver and 2 light fiend monsters. Quick effect, you can negate the effects of a number of face-up cards on the field up to the total link rating of link monsters equipped to this card until the end of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle one other light fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck or extra deck. Then target one card on the field, send it to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Fiendsmith Desiree once per turn. So, that card is basically our way of getting further negation onto the board when we equip either Sequence, Requiem, or Agamonde to it. I'm once again so sorry for the stutter that I have today. I'm excited to come and tell you guys about this deck, so it's a little bit flared up and a little bit harder for me to further explain. Anyways, moving on, we do have the one DDD Wave High King Caesar. Takes 2 level 6 fiend monsters. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, it includes the effect or an effect that special summons a monster. Quick effect, you can attach one material from this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then you can make one other DDD monster, or one other DD monster you control, and this card gain 1800 attack until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. So that's another negation that we're getting by using Lacrima and Engraver, or Necro-Equipped Princess and Engraver, or the Unchained monster. That's all I'm playing outside of the link monsters. So, what are the links that I'm playing? Of course, we're playing the one Fiendsmith Requiem, the 2 Magical Musketeer Max, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Unchained Soul Lord of Yama, 1 Fiendsmith Sequence, 1 Unchained Soul of Rage, 1 Unchained Soul of Anguish, 1 Fiendsmith Agamonde, 1 Access Code Talker, and finally 1 Abao Aku, the Lightless Shadow. So, what do all these deck cards do? So, for Requiem, you can summon it by using 1 light fiend monster. You can only special summon Fiendsmith Requiem once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Fiendsmith monster from your hand or deck. You can target 1 light non-link fiend monster you control. Equip this card from your field or graveyard to that monster as an equipped spell. that gives it 600 attack. You can only use the effect of Fiendsmith's Requiem once per turn. Next, I have Magical Musketeer Max. It takes 1 level 8 or lower Magical Musket monster. If this card is Link Summon, you can activate one of these effects. Add Magical Musket spells or traps with different names from your deck up to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Or you can special summon Magical Musket monsters with different names from your deck up to the number of spells and traps your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Magical Musketeer Max once per turn. During either player's turn, you can activate Magical Musket spell or trap cards from the hand. So with these two, we're basically utilizing our Link 1s to get us extra monsters or interaction during our turn so we can further break down our opponent's board while also building a board presence. Up next, IP Masquerena. We're basically using 2 non-link monsters when we're not fiend locked to go and make access code talker, or make it to where we can make one of our link 2s into something that's untargetable during our opponent's turn, utilizing another monster we control. Next, we have Unchained Soul, Lord of Yama. Requires 2 fiend monsters. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 Unchained monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card. Special summon 1 fiend monster from your hand or graveyard, then destroy 1 card you control. You can only use each effect of Unchained Soul, Lord of Yama, once per turn. So, being able to run a second Unchained monster would really benefit this deck, so I'm more than likely going to run 1 copy of blue, just so I have a spell and trap pop as well. But, this card is really insane, as it takes only 2 fiends and gets you right into your Unchained engine. Next, we have Fiendsmith Sequence. This card requires 2 monsters, including a light fiend monster. We don't really have to worry about light fiends because we're running a lot. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fiend fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your graveyard into the deck. You can target 1 light non-link fiend monster you control. Equip this card from your field or graveyard to that monster you control as an equipped spell with the following effect. Your opponent cannot target the equipped monster with card effects. So making it to where it's a really big monster, such as Desiree, you can make it to where it's even bigger and untargetable, so you have an interactable negate. Next, we have Unchained Soul of Rage. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up special summon monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 dark link monster except Unchained Soul of Rage by using only that opponent's monster and this card you control as material. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 fiend monster in your graveyard except Unchained Soul of Rage, add it to your hand. So being able to link off during your opponent's turn to further interrupt them helps out a lot as well. Next, we have Unchained Soul of Anguish. 2+ monsters, including an Unchained Soul monster. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 dark link monster except Unchained Soul of Anguish by using only that opponent's monster and this card you control as material. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 fiend monster graveyard, except Unchained Soul of Anguish adds to your hand. So, this is where it allows us to go into our access code to make a 5300 attacker, because it'll gain 3000 due to the Unchained Soul of Anguish. It helps out greatly with the actual battle damage, and being able to beat over things such as the Lunalite Towers card, which I think is Liger Dancer. Next, we have Fiendsmith Agamunde. 2+ monsters, including a light fiend monster. Once per turn, quick effect. You can target 1 light non-link fiend monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, equip this card you control to that monster as an equipped spell with the following effects. The equipped monster gains attack equal to the total link rating of link monsters equipped to it times 600. If the equipped monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Of course, access code talker is our big beefy beater that we use here lately. We can also banish one of our links of a different attribute to send a card that our opponent cannot interact with during this activation. Then finally we have Abao Aku, the Lightless Shadow. During the main phase, quick effect, you discard one card, then activate one of these effects. Destroy one card in the field. Banish this card until the end phase, and if you do, special summon light or dark monster from your graveyard. During your standby phase, draw cards equal to the number of different monster types in your graveyard, then place cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck in any order, equal to the number of cards you drew. You can only use each effect of Abao, Aku, the Lightless Shadow, once per turn. So, overall, allowing us to further break the board by getting a actual pop as a quick effect during the actual main phase, so further interruption and interaction. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you guys today for the Unchained Magical Musket deck. Once again, I am so sorry for my stutter, but I do hope you enjoyed this deck profile. And if you did, please go ahead and leave it a like and subscribe. I do try to read everybody's comments as they come in, and I greatly appreciate it as well. Anyways, I hope you all have a great one, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?